Hey everybody, and welcome to another Star Citizen video. My name is Scary Spikes, and today I'll be giving you 5 quick tips on how to manage your inventory system a bit better. Before we get started, a huge thanks to Mumbles Makeshifty Feet 88 and all of my wonderful channel members and patrons for their continued direct support. If, like Mumbles, you'd like to support me directly, you can do so with the link down below by becoming a patron, or by clicking the blue join button right next to the red subscribe button under the video. Of course, you can help me in a big way also if you find this video helpful and enjoyable by making sure to like it and sharing it with your friends and communities, becoming a subscriber, and ringing the bell to never miss any videos in the future. You can join me live on stream Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. over on Twitch, and of course also on our wonderful Discord community. The links for those can be found in the description below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this video. Alright, so we're hanging out just outside of Everus Harbor, and this is where you'll want to do the same, because there's a few things that you can do in the Armistice Zone that you might not think are possible, and are going to be very helpful, especially with the upcoming 3.17 patch, which unfortunately is still delayed. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the basics, and that's going to be, first of all, how to equip your character and unequip your character with different types of items. You'll want to press I to get into your inventory system, and you can traverse around your character, although it's a bit of a tight fit here, with the right mouse button, so just go ahead and click and hold, and you'll be able to get a closer view as to what's available on your character already. And then you should also be able to use your mouse wheel, zooming in and out with the mouse wheel as well. Alright, so there's 2 different ways that you can equip your character. One is going to be dragging, and that's one that you probably already know, so we're just going to use this ammunition here as an example. So we'll go ahead and left click, hold, and drag, and then you'll see that we have a number of different circles that appear beside our character. The green ones indicate the free spots, and the cyan ones, or cyan, are ones that indicate magazines already in place. What's also really nice is that the number of ticks around the actual circle will tell you how many bullets you have left in your magazine, so that'll help you to identify whether you have partial magazines on your character, so that you don't get a surprise trying to shoot somebody that's coming after you and you only have like 3 bullets left. So the easiest way, of course, to do this is just go ahead and drag your magazine over top, and it'll give you a preview of each one of the circles as well to show you that you do have a full magazine and where it's going to go. But it's also going to highlight an area on the character model itself to show you where exactly that's going to be, in case you've got some serious OCD like me. So we're just going to go ahead and drop that there, and now you can see that we have a magazine right there. Now you can take this off your character simply by holding your left mouse button and dragging it off your character. You do want to make sure that you get a green outline. If you get a blue or gray outline, you may want to just try to move your mouse and reposition it, or just exit and enter the inventory system again. Now the second way to equip your character is much easier, and if you're in a hurry, this can definitely save you a lot of time, and that's actually simply just by double clicking. And what I found interesting is that the majority of people don't know that you can do this, but there you go, just double click and then you'll notice that we have all of our magazines on board. Alright, so tip number 2 is going to be a pretty quick one too, and fairly straightforward and basic, and if you've been playing for a bit, you probably already know this since the inventory system's been out since 3.14, but a lot of people still don't know about this, and they're not utilizing their ships to their fullest potential. And that is that you can use your ship as a storage device, at least as a portable one anyway. Now unfortunately, this doesn't work in the way that you'd expect, with many of your friends coming onto your ship and putting things into it, and everybody being able to access everything that everybody else put into it. It only works on a per person basis, if that makes sense. So for example, if me and a friend went out in my Vanguard here and I put some items into my ship, he won't be able to see them, and I won't be able to see any of the items that he puts in there himself. He'll only be able to see his own items, and I'll only be able to see mine. But the way that you do it is very simple. With your inventory system open, all you need to do is just have a look at the tabs that you have at the top of the screen. So you have your personal inventory here. That's going to be a backpack if you happen to have one, which I do, as well as any of your armor pieces that might provide auxiliary storage for any small items. And then you'll also see tabs on the very top here as well. You'll see a local and a vehicle tab, and then here we have our personal and our vehicle tab. So what this allows us to do is to move items in pretty much any direction we want between our local inventories, that is to say the stations as well as landing zones, and our ships, as well as between our ships and of course our inventory as well. So we see that we can have our vehicle and our personal inventory open at the same time, and we can also have our local and our vehicle inventory open as well, or the local and the personal inventory. So That allows you to move a lot of things in the right direction where you want them, and it allows you to store your items on your ship so that you can take them with you depending on what you're doing or what missions you're running. In this case, it's pretty much easy. We're going to go to the filters tab here really quickly and see if we can filter out some weapons. And I've got a number of AO3 sniper rifles here that I'd like to take with me since I really like them. And I don't have enough room on my character, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag a few of these over here. And then that way, if I have a couple of friends coming with me to do some bunker missions and we happen to take the Harbinger, then we're going to have some weapons for all of my friends to use. And again, I'll need to pull these out for my friends because they won't be able to see them when they go into the inventory themselves. They'll be able to see their own instant inventory of their own goods. But at least this allows us to move things around and keep things mobile so as not always to have to return to a space station or landing zone to get the things that we need. Now note that if you do have your ship exploded for some reason, you are going to lose all these things as well, and the insurance will not be able to bring them back, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so for tip number 3, I'm going to show you how to customize your weapon 2 different ways. One, of course, is my favorite way, and that is to use the UI for the inventory system, as this is what this video is about. The other one, of course, is the one I'm going to show you first, and that is the default customization interface. So what you want to do is you want to hold F, and you want to move over your weapon until you get the menu. Click on customize, and then you'll notice that you have some options for customization. Now you'll want to have certain things in your inventory like compatible scopes, silencers, underbarrel attachments, what have you, in order for this to work. Otherwise you won't really see anything. But if we click on one of these, you'll notice that we do have a suppressor here that we can put on. It does give you a visualization as well of what it's going to look like, and we do also have an underbarrel attachment here as well as a scope. The downside of this, even though it does kind of zoom in, it does look kind of cool and shows you how things will look, is that it only gives you sort of a holographic view of it. So it doesn't give you a true representation of what it will look like if things are different colors and so on. Also the other thing that I don't like, it's kind of clunky and buggy sometimes. So for example, we can't get to our barrel attachment without first clicking off of this and then going into the barrel attachment. And then you see when you go between different attachment points, you start to get bugs like now it's telling us we can't equip this where we totally can because it's the right size for this weapon. So I just don't really like this. It also kind of leaves you vulnerable standing there looking at your weapon, and sometimes you do have to click back and then exit if you're in that customization there. So it's just an extra click to get you out to the regular first-person view to be able to respond just in case you happen to come under fire. So the way that I prefer to do it, it's my favorite way, of course. Yours can be different, and that's totally okay, but you'll press I to get into your inventory screen, and you can do this with your weapon being held at the ready, or you can do it with your weapon on your backpack or on your back, however you prefer. You notice that we do have a pair of attachments here. We have a little scope as well as a little suppressor, and you can go ahead and zoom in a little bit or just move your character around to make it a bit easier for you to see. And then you can simply just drag things on top. So you see, as soon as we picked up that scope, we had a little circle pop up, very similar to the original UI for customization. And then, of course, we can do the same with the suppressor and do it like that. And there you go. Now we have a suppressor on board as well as a nice little scope. Now this does work in reverse too, so if you ever find weapons out in the wild and you want to strip them down for parts, you can totally do that, and you can simply just drag and drop into your inventory. What's really cool is sometimes you have to finagle your way into this, but you can also do the same thing with the magazine. So you can actually take the magazine out of the weapon, discard the weapon, and keep the magazine if you already have a weapon of that type with you and you just don't want to carry extra weapons. So definitely a nice little touch to help you get a little bit more out of looting all those bunker missions you'll be doing in 3.17. Tip number 4. If you're like me and you've been scouting around the verse for a number of months or years, you've probably been collecting a lot of things, and you've probably got a bunch of junk in your trunk. And giggity, you're probably going to want to find some of that junk at some point, either to sell it in 3.17 as you can, or of course just to use it for different missions. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of granularity, and especially not a search box to be able to find the exact things that we're looking for in said trunk. So how do we add that granularity and help ourselves to find the items that we're looking for without resorting just to the plain old buttons up here in the filters tab? Well, there is a slightly better way, albeit not a whole lot better, and that is by using the custom filter in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You'll notice that we are currently looking at armor, and so because we're looking at armor, the main armor category is ticked, and we've got all the subcategories ticked. But what if I was looking for just cores? Well, I can do that, and there you go. All my cores are here. And of course, you can do that with all of these different options here. Unfortunately, there's not a huge number of them, but there's definitely more granularity here than you'll find in the basic options in the filters menu. So until we get that search bar, this is probably going to be the best way for you to find what it is you're looking for at any given time, and relatively quickly to boot. Alright, so finally, tip number 5, last but not least, a huge, massive improvement in quality of life around Stanton. And honestly, I don't know why this wasn't brought in sooner, but I guess I'm really happy that it's here now. Before we get started with that, of course, I'm not going to be answering any questions about the monocle or top hat or lack of pants in the comments, so please don't ask. Moving right along. If you go into your inventory and click on vehicle, you'll notice that you now have all sorts of different types of vehicle components, weapons, gimbals, and so on physicalized in the inventory. Now, while you can't drop these on the ground, you can put them in the inventory of other ships, which is going to make it so much easier to get the things that you buy back to home base where all of your ships are stationed without having to take out the individual ships that you bought upgrades for and essentially doing the tour de Stanton, as it were. So very easy, you simply go ahead and drag over all of your weapons and modules for your ships from your local inventory where they were purchased over to your ship inventory, and then simply take them and deliver them to wherever they're needed, and then just do the reverse at the station where you want to have those upgrades go in on the ships that you happen to have stationed there. Now that is honestly really, really huge. I'm really, really excited about this, and I think this is honestly one of the best features of 3.17. I'm not sure if I remember if I put that as one of my favorite features in my top 5 favorite features of 3.17 video that I did a few weeks ago, but this is really awesome. It's a huge quality of life improvement, and honestly, it really makes a big difference and makes the whole journey of upgrading your ships much easier. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you found the video helpful and entertaining, and if you did, you can help me out in a big way by smashing the crap out of that like button and becoming a subscriber with notifications turned on so that you never miss my future uploads. Of course, like Mumbles, if you want to help me in a direct way, you can do so by becoming a patron down below using the link in the description, or clicking the blue join button to become a channel member right here on YouTube. It goes a really long way to helping me keep the lights on and producing awesome content for you weekly, so thank you so much for all of your support. You can join me live on stream as well. Wednesdays and Fridays, I stream on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have an awesome community there, so come on by and say hello. And of course, you can drop by our Discord community as well. Lots of awesome people there waiting to meet, chat, and play with you. Come by. The links are down in the description below for both of those. And thank you so much once again for watching. We'll hope to see you in the next video.